Hello, everyone. I want to tell you something that most people discover too late. You woke up this morning with a full supply of mental energy. Sharp, clear, ready. But by the time you finished checking your phone, scrolling through notifications, and reading the news, a significant portion of that energy was already gone. And the day had not even started yet. Research shows that the average person makes around 35,000 decisions every single day. Each one costs mental energy. Each notification that pulls your attention, each piece of information your brain processes, each small worry you entertain, all of it draws from the same limited supply. Here is the truth that changes everything. Your brain is not a machine that runs on electricity. It runs on glucose, on rest, on focused attention. And just like a phone battery, once it is drained, your performance drops dramatically. Your thinking becomes slower. Your English becomes harder. Your decisions become worse. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how smart people protect their mental energy, why most people waste it before their most important work even begins, and how to build a daily practice that keeps your mind sharp, powerful, and fully charged. Stay with me, because what you learn today could change the quality of every single day for the rest of your life. Part 1. What mental energy really is. Most people think of energy as something physical. Tiredness in the body. Heaviness in the legs. But the most important energy you have is not physical at all. It is mental. And it works very differently from physical energy. Mental energy is your brain's capacity for focused, clear, intentional thinking. It is what allows you to learn new English vocabulary and remember it, to speak in a conversation without freezing, to make good decisions under pressure, to solve problems creatively and quickly. When your mental energy is high, everything feels easier. Words come faster. Ideas connect more naturally. Your English flows with less effort. You feel capable, confident, and in control. This is your brain operating at its best. But when your mental energy is low, the opposite happens. Simple tasks feel difficult. Your concentration breaks every few minutes. You reach for your phone without meaning to. And in English, you freeze, forget words, and feel like all your practice has disappeared overnight. The difference between a great English day and a frustrating English day is often not about your level. It is about your mental energy. And once you understand how to protect it, you will never waste it the same way again. Part 2. The hidden drains nobody talks about. Here is what most productivity advice misses completely. The biggest drains on your mental energy are not the things you think about. They are the things you process without realizing it. Every time you check your phone and find a notification, your brain performs a quick evaluation. Is this important? Should I respond? What does this mean? That evaluation takes mental energy. And studies show that the average person checks their phone 96 times a day. That is 96 small evaluations, 96 interruptions to your focus, 96 tiny withdrawals from your mental energy account. Social media is designed by teams of engineers and psychologists to be as mentally stimulating as possible. Infinite scroll, unpredictable rewards, emotional content that triggers strong reactions. Every scroll activates your brain's dopamine system and costs you focused attention that you cannot get back. Research from the University of California found that after an interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully regain deep focus. The news is another invisible drain. Not because being informed is bad, but because most news is designed to create anxiety and urgency. Your brain responds to threatening information by staying alert, scanning for danger, processing and reprocessing the same worrying thoughts. This constant low-level alertness consumes enormous amounts of mental energy before you ever sit down to do meaningful work. And one of the most costly drains is unresolved decisions. Every unfinished task, every email you have not replied to, every choice you have been avoiding, occupies a small part of your working memory continuously. This is what researchers call the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain cannot fully release incomplete tasks. They stay running in the background, draining your mental energy all day. Part 3. How smart people think about attention. The smartest, most successful people in the world share one understanding that most people never develop. They understand that attention is not just time. Attention is the currency of the mind. And they spend it with extraordinary care. Warren Buffett keeps his schedule almost empty. Not because he has nothing to do, but because he understands that deep thinking requires uninterrupted mental space. He has said that he considers his mind his most important asset and treats it accordingly. Barack Obama famously limited his clothing choices to avoid what psychologists call decision fatigue. The idea is simple. Every decision you make, no matter how small, costs mental energy. By eliminating unnecessary decisions, he preserved his mental capacity for the decisions that actually mattered. Steve Jobs, Einstein, and many other high performers wore similar clothes every day for exactly the same reason. They were not lazy. They were protecting their most valuable resource. This is not just a strategy for famous people. It is a principle available to everyone. The average person makes hundreds of unconscious, unnecessary decisions every morning before they ever start their most important work. What to wear? What to eat? Which route to take? What to check first? Each one costs something. And those costs add up. Smart people design their environment and their routines to minimize unnecessary mental expenditure. Not to be perfect, but to arrive at their most important work with their best mental energy still intact. Part 4. Mental energy and your English. Now let us connect this directly to your English. Because this is where everything becomes personal. Have you ever noticed that your English is much better at certain times of day than others? That in the morning you can think of words more easily, but by evening everything feels harder? That on some days your speaking flows naturally, but on other days you cannot find the simplest vocabulary? This is not about your level. This is about your mental energy. Your English performance is directly tied to the quality of your brain's available resources. When those resources are high, your English is better. When they are depleted, your English suffers. Studies on language learning show that new vocabulary is retained up to 40% better when it is studied during peak mental energy hours. Grammar patterns are absorbed more deeply. Pronunciation improves faster. And speaking fluency increases more rapidly when practice happens in a mentally fresh state. This means that 1 hour of focused English practice with full mental energy is worth more than 3 hours of distracted practice on a depleted brain. Quality of mental state matters more than quantity of time. And protecting your mental energy is one of the most powerful things you can do to accelerate your English learning. So the question is not just, how many hours do you study English? The question is, what is the quality of your mental energy when you study? Are you giving your best mental hours to English? Or are you studying on a depleted brain after spending your best energy on things that did not matter? Part 5. The morning energy window. Here is something that will change how you think about your mornings. The first 2 to 3 hours after you wake up are your highest mental energy window of the day. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focused thinking, learning, and decision-making, is at its most active and powerful during this time. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that cortisol, the hormone associated with alertness and focus, peaks in the morning and naturally declines throughout the day. This means your brain is biologically primed for its best work in the first hours after waking. But most people spend this premium window on the least important activities imaginable. They scroll through social media. They check emails. They read news. They react to other people's priorities. And by the time they sit down to do something meaningful, their best mental energy has already been given away for free. Smart people guard this morning window fiercely. They do not check their phone for the first hour. They do not expose themselves to news or social media. They protect their mental state from external demands and use that time for their most important cognitive work, for their deepest thinking, for their most challenging learning, for their English practice. If you shifted just one habit and used the first 30 minutes of your morning for focused English practice instead of phone scrolling, the improvement in your learning speed would be dramatic. Not because the time is longer, but because the mental energy you bring to it is incomparably higher. Part 6. Decision minimization. One of the most practical and immediately actionable strategies for protecting mental energy is decision minimization. The idea is simple. The fewer unnecessary decisions you make, the more mental energy you preserve for what truly matters. Start with your morning routine. Make it automatic. The same breakfast. The same order of activities. The same time you wake up. When your morning runs on autopilot, your brain is not spending energy on logistics. It is conserving resources for the day ahead. Plan your English practice in advance. Decide the night before exactly what you will study, at what time, and for how long. When you sit down to practice, there is no decision to make. No wondering what to focus on. No choosing between vocabulary, listening, or speaking. Everything is already decided. And that clarity is mentally energizing rather than draining. Reduce the number of choices you face daily. Choose a limited number of meals you rotate through. Organize your workspace so you do not have to search for things. Turn off notifications except for the ones that truly matter. Each of these small decisions removed from your day is a small gift of energy returned to you. And learn to say no with intention. Every time you say yes to something that does not deserve your energy, you are saying no to something that does. Every commitment you accept has a mental cost. And smart people are ruthless, not selfish, about protecting their mental resources from demands that do not serve their growth. Part 7. Recovery is not laziness. Here is something that most driven people get wrong. They think that doing more is always better. That rest is something you earn after you have worked hard enough. That taking breaks means you are not serious about your goals. This thinking is not just wrong. It is actively harmful to your mental performance. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that the brain consolidates learning and restores cognitive resources during rest, not during work. A study from the University of Illinois found that brief diversions from a task dramatically improve the ability to focus on that task for long periods. The brain needs periodic recovery to maintain peak performance, just like a muscle needs rest between training sessions. The most productive people in the world are not the ones who work the most hours. They are the ones who manage their mental energy most intelligently. They work intensely in focus blocks, then recover fully before the next block. This pattern, called ultradian rhythms by researchers, naturally aligns with the brain's 90-minute cycles of high and low alertness. For English learners, this means that studying in focused 25 to 45-minute sessions with genuine breaks produces better results than studying for 2 hours straight with declining attention. Your brain learns better when it is given time to process and integrate new information between sessions. Rest is not the opposite of progress. Rest is part of the process. And treating your recovery as seriously as your practice is one of the smartest things you can do for your English and your life. Part 8. The digital environment. Let us talk about the single most significant threat to mental energy in the modern world. Your phone. Not because phones are evil, but because the way most people use them is genuinely destructive to the kind of deep, focused mental state that learning and growth require. The average person spends 4 hours and 37 minutes on their phone every day. That is over 1,600 hours per year. More than 67 days of waking life, every year, spent on a device designed to fragment your attention and stimulate your reward system. But the damage is not just in the time spent. It is in what phone use does to your brain's ability to focus. Research from the University of Texas found that simply having your phone on your desk, even face down and turned off, reduces available cognitive capacity. Your brain uses energy to resist the urge to check it. Every time you switch between tasks on your phone, your brain pays a switching cost. Studies show that multitasking reduces cognitive performance by up to 40%. Your brain cannot truly multitask. It can only switch rapidly between tasks, and each switch costs mental energy and time. For English learners, this is especially important. Deep language learning requires sustained, focused attention. The kind of attention that is impossible when your environment is constantly interrupting you. The single most impactful change many learners could make is not studying more. It is creating a phone-free environment for their English practice. That one change can transform the quality of every study session. Part 9. Building a mental energy practice. So how do you actually build a life that protects your mental energy every day? Not through willpower alone. Willpower is itself a mental resource that depletes. But through systems. Through environment design. Through habits that make the right choice the easy choice. Start tonight. Before you sleep, write down the 3 most important things you want to accomplish tomorrow. Put your English practice on that list. Decide exactly when it will happen. This small act of predecision removes the cognitive burden of planning from your morning mind. Create a physical environment that supports focus. This means a dedicated space for your English practice that is associated in your brain with focused work. It means removing distractions from that space. It means making the tools you need for practice immediately accessible and the tools of distraction less accessible. Build a morning ritual that protects your mental energy before the world demands it. Even 20 minutes of phone-free, intention-setting time before you begin engaging with the world gives your brain a powerful foundation for the day. And track your mental energy. Notice which hours feel sharpest. Which activities drain you most quickly? Which environments support your focus and which undermine it? This self-knowledge is enormously valuable. Because you cannot protect something you do not understand. Part 10. Your mental energy is worth protecting. Here is what I want you to feel as we come to the end of this video. Not overwhelmed. Not like you need to change everything immediately. But excited. Because what you have just learned gives you real power. The power to change the quality of every day simply by changing what you do with your attention. You have mental energy that is worth protecting. Worth fighting for. Worth designing your entire day around. Not because you are trying to be perfect, but because you have things worth doing. English to learn. A mind to develop. A person to become. Every hour you protect from unnecessary distraction is an hour your brain can do something real. Something that builds toward the life you want. Every morning you guard from noise is a morning your best thinking can happen. Every English session you approach with full mental energy is a session where real, lasting learning occurs. You are not behind. You are not too late. You have not wasted too much energy already. Right now, in this moment, you have the awareness to begin protecting what is most valuable. And awareness is always the beginning of change. Final message. Mental energy is the foundation of everything you want to build. Your English. Your career. Your relationships. Your creativity. Your growth. All of it requires a brain that is clear, focused, and fully charged. And that brain does not happen by accident. It happens by design. From today, I want you to make one commitment. Identify the single biggest drain on your mental energy. The one thing that costs you the most focus without giving you real value in return. And begin to protect yourself from it. Not all at once. Just one decision. One boundary. One small act of self-respect. Because here is the truth. Every time you protect your mental energy, you are saying something powerful to yourself. You are saying, my mind matters. My growth matters. The person I am becoming matters. And that belief, practiced daily, will change your English, your productivity, and your life in ways you cannot yet fully imagine. Something inside you knows that you are capable of more. Something inside you has always known it. That voice is right. And the way you honor it is by protecting the most powerful tool you have. Your mind. Now I want to hear from you. Write one English sentence in the comments. Tell me this. What is the one thing you are going to start protecting your mental energy from today? One sentence. Simple English. Your real commitment. I read every single comment. If this video helped you, subscribe to Gentle Wisdom. And remember, you do not need more time. You need more of your best energy. Protect it. And watch everything change. See you in the next video.